Rick Swan article at the end of Inquest. Squirm remembered. I love my mother, but she's cost me a fortune. When I was a kid, she'd go into periodic cleaning frenzies and throw out everything in my room that looked like junk to her. Among the casualties were a beat-up but complete copy of Fantastic Four number 12, an Aurora glow-in-the-dark model of Godzilla, and a sky-high stack of drawings featuring hundreds of my original superheroes, like Lightning Man and King Crossword. Today the Fantastic Four would be worth an easy 100, the Godzilla model twice that much, and if stickman art had ever become fashionable, my drawings would be priceless. When I moved out of the house, I vowed this would never happen again. Everything I wanted to keep, letters, photos, toys, you name it, I packed away in cardboard boxes. I dated them, duct taped them shut, and, to discourage snoops, labeled them tax receipts. Every now and then, when I'm bored or avoiding work, I drag out one of these cardboard time capsules and spend the day oohing and awing over the contents. Recently, I excavated a box from under the basement stairs dated November 5th, 1981. Inside were a bundle of promotional flyers from DC Comics, a rejected magazine manuscript, and a genuine treasure, a card game called Squirm. I didn't remember ever playing Squirm, but I remembered where it came from. About 15 years ago, I bought a couple of war games at a Des Moines, Iowa game shop. The owner threw in a copy of Squirm at no charge. They weren't selling, so he was giving them away, just to get them off the shelves and out of the store. After retrieving Squirm from the basement, I decided to give it a try. The game consists of a deck of triangular cards, each showing a section of reptilian anatomy: tails, wings, torsos, claws. Players deploy their cards on the table one by one, competing to be the first to create an intact, fire-breathing dragon. Depending on the arrangement of her coils, a dragon can crush, frighten, or fry her enemies. Knight, treasure, and egg cards add bonus points and dispel curses. It's terrific fun, easy to learn, impossible to master, and as addictive as cotton candy. Best of all, Squirm lends itself to a surprising number of variants. The advanced rules allow for jousting matches and damsel rescues. Preschoolers can amuse themselves by creating four-headed dragons and other goofy creatures. With the help of a biologist buddy, I developed a variant involving gene splicing and cell mutation. The more I got into it, the more I wondered if I was the only guy in the world who'd been squirmed. I called a dozen retailers across the country to see if they'd ever heard of it. Responses ranged from nope to I don't think so to you've got to be kidding. Doesn't sound like something we'd ever carry, sniffed a Toys R Us manager. I also wondered about Merle Rasmussen, the designer of Squirm. I discovered that, at least for a while, he lived in Iowa, where I live now. He also spent a chunk of the 1980s designing some first-rate role-playing supplements such as guns, gadgets, and getaway gear for the top-secret SI game and Midnight on Dagger Alley for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. But I never found out what happened to Rasmussen. Maybe he retired. When a store in your own home state gives your game away for free, that's gotta be discouraging. There are two lessons in this story. Lesson number one is for game designers. It doesn't matter if the critics hated your game, the distributors screwed you, or you only had enough cash to publish 3 copies. Every game has an audience. Maybe it's just the kid next door, some guy in an army base in Iceland. Maybe it's just me who discovered your game in my basement 15 years after the fact. Sooner or later, somebody somewhere will appreciate your masterpiece. Lesson number two is for everybody else. Don't throw anything out. Today's junk may be tomorrow's glow-in-the-dark Godzilla.